dropped a bag on a stock that was basically dead. Had the whole squad laughing, said I lost my head. My charts look cursed like a demon possessed it. Options down bad, but I still went and pressed it. Held through the dip like a drunk at a fight. Then that candle shot up like a thief in the night. Trade station froze, tried to block my trade. Called him up quick like run me my pay. Analyst said I was out of my mind. Now I'm buying out bars off a God-tier climb. They hedge, I bet, they sweat, I flex. Whole damn portfolio built off stress. A maxed out margin, I ain't had to say. If this trade goes wrong, I ain't paying my range. Risky on my desk, charts looking like flames. If I blow this account, I'ma double down again. Debt collectors knocking, told them buy the dip. If I lose it all, I'ma blame the Fed real quick. Risk to the moon, bring sales to the dirt. If I cash out now, then I never put in work. Took a YOLO on a ticker that ain't even make sense. Now I'm pouring champagne like it's common expense. Twitter said sell, but I bet against the herd. Now they in my DMs trying to act like they learned. Turn my last 5 bills to a house-size stack. Now the same ones hating trying to piggyback. Told my landlord he can kiss my debt, cause I just bought the complex and raised his rent. Mad money moves, I ain't watching no Kramer. I see red, I go in like a Vegas hater. Risk it all, let the charts decide. If I win, then we up. If I lose, we ride. Maxed out margin, I ain't hedge a cent. If this trade goes wrong, I ain't paying my rent. Risky on my desk, charts looking like flames. If I blow this account, I'ma double down again. Debt collectors knocking, told them buy the dip. If I lose it all, I'ma blame the Fed real quick. Risk to the moon, bring sales to the dirt. If I cash out now, then I never put in work. I could've been wrecked, I could've been gone. Instead I'm at the top and I'm taxing the throne. Broker hit my line like, boy, you a menace. Told him send the wire, then I blew it in minutes. Stupid. Dumbest trades keep paying my bills. If risk had a god, then I'm in his will. Told my girl I'd retire in June. Now it's looking like I might just buy the moon. Went from ramen packs to filet mignon. All from playing this game so wrong. Maxed out margin, I ain't hedge a cent. If this trade goes wrong, I ain't paying my rent. Risky on my desk, charts looking like flames. If I blow this account, I'ma double down again. Debt collectors knocking, told them buy the dip. If I lose it all, I'ma blame the Fed real quick. Risk to the moon, bring sales to the dirt. If I cash out now, then I never put in work.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I'm Matt, you're Kohrs, and together we are the show. Is this the best trading show in the world? Probably not. I feel like your host could be a better trader, but it is the best trading show in terms of music. Like if there were an award system for streaming finance channels, and then one of them had a subcategory of music to get everyone ready for the day, this would definitely be it. This would definitely be the show. And we also have the coolest cat, so maybe we would be winning 2 different awards. But fortunately for us, even though today could be a little crazy, pre-market trading is a little bit red, volatility is expiring, which is going to be opening up some opportunity for the overall market to actually get moving. Fortunately for us, when that is all coming together, the chief investment officer of this entire show, of this entire conglomerate, is here. So she's making a specialty appearance to see what in the world is going on today. How you doing? How you doing? She doesn't look so happy to be dealing with... Oh, nope, she is displeased. She is displeased, so hopefully she's not going to miss her nap time, because it definitely looks like she needs it. But regardless, it is a Wednesday market, early morning, a little bit red. There's a couple things going on that we have to talk about. Oil prices going up. There is some murmurs that Israel might be attacking Iran. Not so bueno. We have some kind of contentious news related to the world of politics and the big, beautiful bill that might not be. So we have to talk a bit about that. We have a couple earnings to get into, what's going on with Palo Alto Networks, Lowe's, and Target. And we have a couple little, it's not really earnings, but it is news related to Elon and Tesla. So I want to talk about that. And then most importantly, I kind of want to get everyone set up for the day because what we've seen Monday and Tuesday, today is a clear difference. At 9:30 this morning, in a mere 26 minutes, the volatility contracts are going to expire. And right now they've been pretty put heavy, as in we've seen vol go down. That was the major options bets. But once again, they expire at 9:30 a.m., which is most likely going to be opening up a bit of opportunity for the market to move in either the bullish or bearish direction. And as that's playing out, it's interesting because we're seeing an outsized bet in the S&P 500, specifically on SPX, to drop all the way to 58.75. There's 11,000 long put contracts down to that level, creating a very clear, evident, massive negative gamma node on a 0 DTE basis. So we have a lot to get into. We have a lot to chit chat about. So I don't know. I hope you guys are ready. I do appreciate you being here at the crack of dawn. I'm seeing that chat is already ripping it. Very quickly, before I get into too much of it, special shout out to Take Profit Trader. As of right now, this is the best offer. So if you enjoy doing sim-to-funded trading, if you want to trade with someone else's money, right now, financially, for you, for me, for everyone involved, this is the best offer. Take Profit Trader, 30% off for the eval. And if you use that code Goonie, there's no activation fee. So basically the whole shebang to go from the start of eval to a funded account, in totality, it's going to be, I believe, around $119. And once again, considering the cost of the two, this is currently the best offering. Obviously, use the account size that is best for you, but I just wanted to shout this out. Once again, code Goonie to get 30% off for life and no activation fee, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Later on, if you guys have questions of the similarities and differences between Take Profit Trader, TPT, and Apex, more than happy to answer that, but let's just dive in that a little bit later because I do want to go through some things to get you guys prepped up for today. Also, a very friendly neighborhood reminder. As soon as you guys, I will give you the tarot card, but you need to get the likes over 500. Yesterday, we could barely pull it off. I don't think you guys had your coffee quite yet on the day, and that's acceptable. There's some days I myself forget to have my coffee, but I do just want to remind you that as soon as you guys explode those likes over 500, that's when we're going to have to go from guessing on the market and using boring technicals, math, stats, and figures to definitively knowing where the market's going to go, and we will rip a tarot card. Thus far in the week, we are 2 for 2. On Monday, it was a moon card. We ripped to the high heavens. On Tuesday, we got the temperance card, suggesting somewhere in the middle, in between, be balanced. And that's exactly we got a sideways chop kind of a day. So if you guys want to have the secrets of today's trading session unveiled to you, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, log into your second account, like it on that one, log into your third account, like it on that one. And in fact, make sure you're not just pressing the like button. I would say, like, just to really send a point to both Rumble and YouTube, like, destroy your mouse, like actually take a hammer to it, like really click it in. I think that's going to be key in the market gods telling us where the market's actually going to be going today. And on that note, I should probably talk about the markets. Dow futures dropped 300 points as bond rates move higher. So bond rates are going up. Oil is going up because of the whole Israel-Iran thing. And there's a little bit of nerves now kind of boiling over as it does relate to the Republicans, well, really politicians in general, will they be able to pass the big, beautiful bill by this self-imposed deadline of this upcoming Monday, Memorial Day? Side note, don't forget the market's going to be closed. It's going to be a half day for futures, and it's going to be completely closed for equities, but I could remind you of that on Friday. So let's start with the political drama. Trump's economic agenda hinges on tax bill that divides his own party. The president is putting pressure on Republicans to pass the legislation and move past policy disagreements. One important note here is the way all mainstream media is reporting this. There's a particular bias that we're seeing because yesterday on this show, we listened to Trump actually do an interview, and he's like, what do you mean pressure? What do you mean I'm upset? We're ahead of schedule. Things are looking great. So from his own words, we're getting a different vibe from what's being reported. Now, do I say one side is right and one side is wrong? No, like many things in life, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but I just want to do my best to be balanced and give you both sides of this particular story. Congress pulls the tax cut all-nighter with SALT fight unresolved. So state and local taxes, that's SALT, Not only is it a delicious thing to put on your steak when you're reverse searing it, it also apparently has a lot to do with taxes, and it has a lot to do with why the big beautiful bill might not be getting passed. So here's a little bit from Bloomberg chit-chatting about it today to give you a little bit more insight.
It's a really big day for Speaker Johnson because we should note the amendments that he agreed upon all day long and all evening long into the early hours are still being discussed in the Rules Committee. So these amendments, this bill is making its way through the Rules Committee right now.
Side note, I have that exact same top. I just didn't want to wear it when she was wearing it because I thought it could make the show weird. But yeah, no, we both pulled it off well.
It started at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we don't even have the text yet to confirm what was discussed. So this is a really important day for Speaker Johnson. First question, can he get it? I feel like I'm a less angry person, though. How soon could he get it on the House floor to meet his self-imposed Memorial Day deadline? We will see what he has to say in the 9 o'clock hour when he sits down with me here in Washington, D.C. But, Jonathan, two big changes per reports were discussed, and this is potentially able to get the entire Republican conference together to vote for this. One is the SALT cap. This is really important for high tax states like California, New Jersey, and New York. You've heard that before. I know you've spoken a lot with Representative Mike Lawler. So what was agreed upon was lifting of the SALT cap from $10,000K to $40,000K for those making less than $500,000. Now, there's also something else in there potentially for conservatives. We do expect potentially the carve out, the rescission of these credits for green technology, those grants. That might happen sooner than it was expected to be. So maybe as soon as 2028. So that would be a carrot for those conservatives to be able to sign up for this. But we should note this is going to be a long slog today on whether or not this bill gets to the House floor.
So it gives you a little bit more of a breakdown of the political drama. I think it's not going to be the most impactful thing to the market, but it's still important to kind of know because, yes, it could have an impact. Trump fails to convince the SALT caucus to back the tax bill. President Donald Trump failed to sway key Republicans from blue states to drop opposition to a major tax bill over a cap on deductions for state and local taxes. Opposition to the bill from the SALT caucus threatens to derail the tax legislation, which Trump and House Speaker Mike Johnson hope to pass before Memorial Day weekend, as in this weekend. In the 2017 Republican tax bill capped the SALT deductions at $10,000. A proposal in the current tax bill calls for a deduction to be raised to $30,000, not high enough for some Republicans. So they're trying to triple up, and right now, obviously, as politicians do, they're fighting it back and forth. And not that it directly relates to this, but I have a bone to pick with everyone. So for those of you in here, there's a good chance you know that if you're in the U.S., you can write off $3,000 of trading losses per year. So for example, if you lose $9,000 in a year, you could carry that over. You could write off $3,000 this year, you could write off $3,000 next year, and you could write off $3,000 the year after that. Now, I'm not accusing anyone in here of losing money as a trader. I'm just saying it. I know 99% of you in here are phenomenal traders. You've never had a losing year, but maybe you just have a friend who does or something like that. So I'm really speaking to your friend via you, definitely not like any personal accusations or anything. What I find interesting is that $3,000 write-off against your cap gains, that hasn't moved in years. Doesn't matter if inflation is ripping, doesn't matter if the overall market's going higher and higher and higher, has not changed. So when we start talking about numbers and as things should expand and contract with the economy, with the market, with everything else that is included there, why in the world has this cap gains tax write-off never really changed? Why is it at $3,000 and yet it doesn't matter with inflation or the expanse of money or anything? It's just frozen at $3,000. So basically that's going to be one of the major pillars that I'm going to run on when I run for Supreme Leader of the United States. And I hope I can count on your vote. Remember, I'm running on a multi-pronged platform. One of them obviously is going to be to appropriately increase the cap gains write-off from your losses based on inflation. The number shouldn't be frozen at 3,000. But remember, the core pillar, the keystone of my, I guess my platform is going to be, I will publicly tweet out all of my trades, and I'm going to get on all the best committees. All of the best committees, but I will publicly tweet out my trades a day before I actually execute them. So imagine Pelosi, but we don't have to wait for the filing. I would be the modern day, like, Robin Hood Pelosi, where I'm on all the good committees, I do all the good votes, but I will be tweeting out my trades a day before I execute them. So just another thing I want you guys to consider when you're wondering who you should cast your vote for Supreme Leader of the United States. I hope I can count on you. All right, bringing it to more specifically today, Wednesday, May 21st at 10:30 for my energy traders. We're going to get crude oil inventories. Energy itself, crude oil itself is kind of really everyone's paying attention to it today because of some of the news we got overnight that Israel is planning on attacking Iran. So you never know if that's going to hurt oil fields, oil transport routes, or anything in that particular world. So if you look at oil right now, it's up. So it might be a little bit more frothy today. But I would actually argue, especially if you're a non-energy trader, the interesting thing of the day is the fact that volatility contracts expire. For whatever reason, vol contracts expire on Wednesdays and not on Fridays. Hey, I didn't make the rules. The rules just are like, it's just how the game's played. You get used to it. Don't complain about it. But the fact that we have an expiration today and the expiration is so heavy with vol puts means that we might be freeing up a little bit of vol, like opportunity for vol to expand. So that'd be one of the major things I'm looking for the overall market. Now, talking about specific equities, earnings season is basically over, but there's still a couple worthwhile to talk about. For example, Palo Alto reported last night after the market closed. Palo Alto Networks, which is actually a Pelosi play, beats on earnings and revenue, misses on gross margin. Other than that, this morning, Target, TJ Maxx, after the market closes today, Snowflake, and Zoom. So let's go over some of the ones that reported today. Target cut sales outlook as retailer blames tariff uncertainty and backlash to the DEI rollback. I didn't even know that there was backlash recently against Target. It was kind of news to me, but that's what they're blaming it on. Target's sales dented by DEI boycott. Retailers' comparable sales fell by 3.8% in the latest quarter, a steeper drop than expected. What kind of rock was I living under that you guys didn't even invite me? I didn't even know we were boycotting Target. Like, was this just like one small commute? Like, am I just completely out of the loop on one? Like, literally until I looked over Target's earnings, I didn't even know there was a boycott against Target in recent history, to the point that it hurt their sales by 3.8%, which is, for Target, billions and billions and billions of dollars. So I guess this is a two-part question. Part one, what did I miss here? And part two, why didn't you guys invite me to the boycott? I'm a huge fan of boycotts. Like, I'll set up the barbecue. I'll bring the snacks. I'll bring a salad, maybe a little fruit plate, maybe a little veggie plate. Like, invite me to the party. I literally did not know. Had DEI boycott. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like actually a lot of us didn't know. Seems like Target boycott in San Diego is huge, still going on. So it's a West Coast thing? So maybe it's because of the different time zones that my invite got lost in the mail. That's probably what it is. It's probably that I lost my invite in like different time zones, 3 hours off. Who knows how the postal service works out there. Anyway, Lowe's sticks by a full year forecast as sales from home professionals boost business. So Lowe's and Home Depot seeing an interesting trend in the DIY sector that they're actually feeling pretty good, and they are taking the route of saying, hey, we don't think that this craziness with the trade war, the tariff war, is actually going to impact us. So those were pretty much all the recent earnings. By market cap, pretty much all of the S&P 500 has already reported. There's a couple more interesting equities you might care about, so be on the lookout for that. But in a general sense, earnings season is over, with the exception of a few important companies. Now, not that it had earnings, but I am particularly excited for what is going on with Tesla. Elon Musk confirms Tesla plan for robotaxis on Austin roads in June. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said robotaxis will be on the streets of Austin, Texas by the end of June. Folks, we're pretty much at the end of May. We're talking about 4 to 5 weeks out. Musk spoke in an interview with CNBC. Musk also said he was commented on leading the automaker for the next 5 years. So there's like a economic conference in Qatar right now, and he did a Zoom interview, and they basically said, hey, like, what are you going to be the CEO in 5 years? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, well, in what case wouldn't you be? He's like, if I died. So he's if anything, he's kind of doubling down that he is here for Tesla. We know that he was spending 1 to 2 days a week in politics, and the recent rumors are basically saying he's pulling back from that, and he's basically reestablishing his focus on his core tech businesses rather than politics. So I covered this in the update video yesterday, which many of you didn't watch, and I'm not saying it hurt my feelings, but I definitely did cry in the shower for a couple hours last night. Anyway, I digress. In that video, I explained why right now in a couple week time frame, I think Tesla's a very interesting opportunity. From a narrative standpoint, the narrative is improving. Whether it was large institutional investors, whether it was sovereign wealth funds, they did not like that Elon was spending any of his time in politics, because it inherently, just by definition, meant he wasn't spending as much time as he could on Tesla. So the narrative is improving. Elon stepping away from politics. On top of it, we have other narrative improvements such as this of like, okay, the long promised robo-taxi network is actually actually legit coming to fruition. So no matter how you chop it up, relative to a month or two ago, the narrative surrounding Tesla stock is improving. Then from a technical standpoint, as I kind of really outlined in the video yesterday, we have higher highs and higher lows. That is a bullish technical structure. From a momentum standpoint, if you look at Tesla's daily stock, it is on top of all the major EMAs, as in it has bullish momentum. And over the past week to 2 weeks, the options market has gotten a lot more giddy about it in terms of upside, with looking at upside potential of about maybe 355 as the first target, the mid 360s as the second target, and the low 370s as the third reach target. So from a narrative standpoint, from a technical standpoint, from a momentum standpoint, and from an option structure standpoint, those are the 4 important pillars that I'm really considering here, which is why the long term, I'm invested in Tesla, but I'm talking about the next couple weeks of where, hey, as long as the overall market doesn't take some sort of hit, Tesla might be a good opportunity. So obviously, if you want more of a detailed breakdown, I highly implore you to watch that video that came out yesterday. It's on Rumble and on YouTube, and I kind of get even more to the weeds of the exact number. So definitely feel free to check that out. You know what else you should check out is the Discord. So yesterday was a little bit froggy, but I still ended up making $2.4 thousand by selling premium. This was all posted in real time. Feel free to ask the Discord. So at 10:41 in the morning, really 10:40, Piper fired off with a bullish signal, 4 out of 5 strength, ended up returning $52, which was 100% in the premium. That was the minimum unit size for a risk of $348. Obviously, for every $348 in your account, you can scale that up. So let's say you had an account of 3.5K. Well, congrats. That means you made $500. You 5X'd it. I just always post this stuff in the minimum. The minimum numbers is how I choose to show it to everyone, because we all have different account sizes. So it's easier. Like, it's just reasonable to keep it in like the base account, if you will, or base unit, if you will. And then obviously I share my own levels of doing it. So early in the day, I sold some 5920s. I had 15 of them. That made $900. At one point in the day, they were getting tested. So I rolled it down even further, and I got more in kind of a weird hedge situation, but you could see I doubled up. I had 30 of them, and that returned 1,500. So 900, 1,500 made 2,400. As in, if you understood what I was doing, if you had a similar account size, if you had a bigger account size, you could have made more money. If you had a smaller account size, you could have made less money. But regardless, my own real-time posted trades, none of this Monday morning quarterbacking bullshit, would have paid for you to be in the Discord for the next 4 years. And better than that is the fact that the first month is 100% free. If you're not in the Discord, what are you doing? You have no risk whatsoever. 0 risk for the entire first month. You get access to my trades, the Piper signal, all the previous educational material, the voice chat, the written chat, everyone in the community, an entire month risk-free. If you like it, great, stick around. I think the value that you get in for there dramatically outweighs the actual cost of it. But if for whatever reason it's not for you, just cancel your account within the first month and you're not going to get charged anything anyway. So check that out. And even if you end up canceling your account and you go from a supporter to a member, you still get the newsletter for free. This has always been free. It's always going to be free. It's not behind any form of a paywall. Every single Sunday to your email inbox, you will get this newsletter where I break down the week, all the earnings, all the major macroeconomic events. And then probably most useful is the seasonality of each individual day. And that's where I want to call out another weird aspect of today of not only are we seeing a little bit of frothiness in pre-market trading, but historically over the past 27 years, the better part of 3 decades, the bulls have only won this day 1/3 of the time, as in over the past 3 decades, the bears have won it 2/3 of the time, which is definitely a deviation from the normal distribution of how the market performs. So from a seasonality standpoint, which is not necessarily the end all be all, but now the fact that we're not so driven by news at this exact moment, I definitely take it under to larger consideration. I'm not exclusively trading off of it, but it's definitely something in the back of my mind. So anyway, over the past 27 years, this has been a day that is won by the bears historically, and this is a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open, sold at close on this individual day in the S&P 500 futures market. You could see you were losing money, as in if you were bearish, you would be making that money. It would be perfectly inverse over the zero line. Now, just so you know, for the remainder of the week, tomorrow is a little weird. For many years, it was flat, and then in the past couple of years, it's been bouncing, and then the same thing with Friday. So tomorrow and Friday, not the strongest seasonal days in either direction that we have historically seen. And on that note, we have 5 minutes to go, which is the perfect opportunity for me to explain to you all of the key levels of the day. So on the screen right now is the S&P 500 index, SPX. Now, I don't really give a shit if you trade SPX or SPY, but when you're looking at the key levels, you should look at SPX because it's a far larger, far more popular, far more traded asset than SPY. There's been a gazillion times where I've done it, you've done it, where we're all trading SPY, and we're like, why in the world did it change at that obscure level? Doesn't make sense. And then you realize it was a key level on SPX. So once again, in terms of influence, and yes, SPY is a very liquid, very actively traded asset, but SPX is far more liquid and far more traded to the tune of 5, 8, 10x more than SPY. So I'm not saying that SPY is illiquid and not trading. I'm just saying on a relative basis, SPX is far more liquid, far more traded. That's where you have your big hedge funds, your institutions, your insurance, everyone, the big banks, they're trading SPX. They're not trading SPY. So once again, you should trade what you want, but I highly recommend, in terms of getting your levels per day, checking out the SPX and then just kind of looking at a rough comparison. But anyway, as I normally do, on the screen, you're going to see the green, the red, and the white. That is yesterday, the previous trading session's high, low, and close. Those are the important technical levels, the potentially important pivot levels of the day. Then the next thing you're going to notice is this white box. That is the transition zone. On a 0 DTE basis, every single morning, once again, everyone in the Discord can attest to it, I do a pretty intense mathematical breakdown of the delta and gamma levels, and that's exactly this transition. Basically, on top of it, really the TLDR is this. On top of it is bullish, below it is bearish, and within it, it is a chop zone. That is the active transition of the 0 DTE, gamma, and delta levels. Like I said, it's getting into like the nerdy ass weeds, but what you really need to know is within it is choppy, above it is bullish, and below it is bearish from a market maker's options perspective. And then from there, the yellow lines, the golden yellow lines, are going to be the major open interest levels of the day and also sometimes of the week and of the month. It depends on where we are and how much open interest is at those levels and the influence of those. So as you can see today, we are gearing up. The last time I checked, we are pretty much gearing up to open up at 5,900, as in we are opening up at a mega key level. There's a lot of open interest here. There's a lot of interest. Like, there's a lot of people actively playing it. The only level that's really being played more today is actually 58.75. There are 11,000 long puts here. This is a massive negative gamma node. I cannot stress this enough that this most likely will be the major test of the day. If we can bounce off of it, okay, maybe the bulls can regain control and we bounce back up to the transition zone. However, if the bulls cannot defend this level and we go below, we're talking 58.50, and then below that, we're talking 5800. This, I know we're not there right now, and obviously the market's going to be opening in 90 seconds, but I cannot stress this enough. In terms of key open interest levels, we have a 99th percentile play, 11,000 long puts targeting 58.75. In my opinion, the way I view the market, that's going to be the key battle of the day. And in the event we get there, it does have interesting implications in terms of us breaking down below important previous lows. I'm looking at the low from 2 days ago, Monday, and I'm also looking at this low from Thursday of last week, 5895 and 5865. So we're looking at some key open interest levels from the options market, and then we're looking at some key technical levels. Remember, when it comes to the market and my personal framework of it, I believe right now with the rise of options trading, especially zero DT trading, you can no longer just trade off of technicals. Just this morning, I was watching another dipshit finance influencer using technicals, trying to grow a $1,000 account, and he doesn't understand why he's losing money. And the reason is because he doesn't understand the Greeks. He doesn't understand the importance of options right now. It used to be said that the market was the dog wagging the tail of options. It is no longer that. Right now, the tail is wagging the dog. Options are having a massive, massive influence because of the dramatic spike in just the pure volume being traded. So if you are not spending a bit of your time to familiarize yourself with options and options influence and the Greek values, you are doing yourself a massive, massive disservice. So please pay attention to that. And that's exactly why every single day I look at both the technicals and those major option levels. And on that particular note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all, play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Remember, it's just money. You can't take it with you when you go anyway. All right, here we are. Surprise, surprise, opening up at yesterday's low and immediately going down to that major test level of 5,900. I'm going to be attempting to do my best and not trade early today. But also, if 5,900 doesn't hold, I would actually think that it's a relatively simple play to take a short position down to 58.75. It is just, I mean, maybe I could show you over here how incredibly large this particular play is. Shout out to Spot Gamma, by the way. But if you look at their trace tool on the left side, load. Come on. Don't embarrass me. Oops, don't embarrass me. Let me do a quick reload here. Here's a flow of the Mag 7 selling right out of the gate. S&P 500 flat right out of the gate. And then you can see this right here on the left side, this giant blue bar to the left side. That is 11,000 long puts to 58.75, as in about 25 points below us. At this point, 30 points below us. So once again, it's a giant if-then statement. I am by no means standing here preaching in front of you of we have to hit that level. Remember, the way to view the market is to identify the key levels and just understand what zone you're in. So it's an if-then statement. If we crack 5,900, then I'm looking for 58.75. If we hold 5,900 and start to bounce, then I'm looking for 59.20. The way I view the market is not necessarily like this strong bullish or bearish bias. Obviously, I like to generate a bias because I don't want to play both sides every single day. But it's more of just knowing the zones we're in. I'm like, okay, if we recapture a certain level, what's the next upside target? If we give up a certain level, what's the next downside target? And as we're in that awkward in between, I don't do anything. It's all choppy. I just care about key level. So that's what I'm looking for. We tap 5,900. Maybe we bounce to 59.20. Maybe we fail at yesterday's low and we go to 58.75. But also, as I normally tell you guys, I have no particular interest whatsoever in trading this early in the day because there's just too many shenanigans. There's too much randomness. And if you're trading at this early in the day and you are consistently profitable, I'm talking over 100, 200, 300, 500 trades. Hey, congrats. You found a system, double down on it, triple down on it if you're net profitable. But if you're like, hey man, I was profitable and I made money yesterday and I made money last week trading really, really early, congrats, you got lucky. I'm not saying I haven't met people. There are very few people I've met who are trading this early as a day trader and they consistently make money. If you want to trade this early and you're a swing trader, hey, have at it. Completely understand that. But for people who are scalp traders, day traders, and they're slinging trades in the first couple minutes of the day, it's a lot more luck than anything else. And once again, not all the time, but I've met a lot of traders, and it is few and far between that actually have a consistent profitable strategy trading this early in the session, this early. So like, if you find it, congrats, you found a golden egg, if you will. But there are many people who just can't do it. So trading is already hard enough. Why not just start to like maybe stack the deck a little bit in your favor. All right, let me switch it over to the 1 minute. MicroStrategy is looking good. Bitcoin's holding just below 107,000. Both the SPY and the Qs already got their upside gap fill. That's actually one trade that I would be a fan of people playing right out of the gate. Upside gap fills, downside gap fills, especially when the gap is prompted by something that isn't massively news related. So right here, we opened up at 588 and change, and we got to push all the way up to 589.60. That's an upside gap fill, as in we traded up into yesterday's low, cleaning up the literal gap on the chart. Same thing on the Qs. We opened up at 516.29 and it was at 516.66. So that was a smaller one, but regardless, it only took 3 minutes for SPY to get its upside gap fill and only took 30 seconds for the Qs to get their upside gap fill. So that would be like one little caveat I have of if you are a daily chart gap fill trader, I understand that one. Like I would totally be in that. And I'm trying to think of who it was. There's a particular book who like his entire strategy is basically playing the gap fill and what risk to use, what risk to not use, and that type of thing. And there's a lot of interesting stats around it. I cannot argue with it. The math is there. And in the world of trading, the one thing you could hardly argue with is the actual math stats and figures of the situation. And that for one of those, it would be the gap fills. But little quick side note, in the month of April, the gap fill trades were horrible because so much of it was news driven. So just because you've seen a gap doesn't necessarily mean you want to put your money on the line. The gap fill strategy, especially for the indices, is stronger if the gap is not prompted by some sort of major news. So today, the fact that we opened up below yesterday's low, there was no major news. So today would have been a viable day to do it. So you have to consider, is the gap because of news? And you also have to consider the size of the gap. If you do a quintile research on the size of gaps, you're going to notice that quintile 4 and 5, the most extreme gaps, are not advantageous to play. But quintile 1, 2, and 3 are actually profitable to play. So definitely recommend you guys checking that out, or if you or feel like doing it, checking it out and trading in that manner. So I would like for MicroStrategy to rip. I would love for Tesla to rip. And I would love for MSTR. Whoa, Netflix is ripping. Hey, I have calls on that and I've been calling it out. Have you explained the MSTR lawsuit? Nope. Don't really care to either. I mean, name a major Fortune 500 company that doesn't have a lawsuit. Riddle me that, Batman. Folks, the market already opened and you are only 200 likes away from getting a perfect prediction of what the market's going to do. Folks, I don't even have to remind you. Every single day, if you can rip those likes over 500, you're going to get the tarot card, the cat tarot card breakdown of the market. So 199 of you need to find your working finger and your working mouse and just smash it. And there we go. We're going to get that perfect prediction of how the market will play out today. And then our life will be a lot easier. But if you want to play today on hard mode, I completely understand. If you're like, nah, dude, I would rather like really struggle in today's trading session. Completely understand. Just don't hit the like button. It's honestly that easy. It's honestly that easy. So if you want an easy day, hard day, you guys let me know. I'm here to do whatever the community wants. I am a mere vessel of entertainment. Nothing else. I think Matt does sell his likes. I hit the like earlier and had to do it again. Oh yeah, of course. Why would I not sell them? Matt, if you say that about lawsuit, your case about not buying Google is invalid. No, it's not. Because it's the severity of the case. Certain lawsuits are complete bullshit and other ones have like a lot of weight, and Google has a lot of serious lawsuits against it. Remember, we don't live in a binary world of black and white of a lawsuit versus not a lawsuit. We live in a lot of gray area of severity of lawsuit. I don't think it takes much critical thought to figure that one out, Ben, but good luck with it. Good luck with it. Oh, I argue with Matt's math and figures. Hey, if you want to, do it. I hear from an increasing number of businesses that they can no longer delay responding to tariffs through changes in either prices or employment. This is from Fed's Bostic. Businesses say demand is still strong enough to justify their current workforce, though they are developing contingency plans. Interesting. UNH has some serious issues as well. Yeah, dude, they are getting accused. They're being investigated for Medicare fraud. Yeah, those are like legit issues. All right, right now the overall market is battling it out at yesterday's low value. We opened there, sold off, hit a key level, bounced right back up to the low value, key technical level, came down, put in a higher low, and we are seemingly retesting that low from yesterday. If the market has enough bullish follow through, then I'm watching 59.20. However, if it gets rejected here, I'd then be watching 5,900. Hey, buddy, I tried playing some VIX calls. I'm trying to figure out what time the price is based on. Any suggestions on trading VIX? I mean, wait, what? I tried playing VIX calls, trying to figure out what time the price is based on. Real time? Like every single thing in the market? Well, price is a reflection of active buyers. The highest willing buyer and the lowest willing seller. That's what price isn't based on some sort of mathematical formula. Price is based on the highest willing buyer and the lowest willing seller. That's how every market ever known to man works, unless you have like some sort of fixed price market. But in free markets like this, the reason Netflix is trading at 1,196 is because that's where the highest willing buyer and the lowest willing seller met. It's not fixed by their revenue or their earnings or anything like that. The highest willing buyer and the lowest willing seller, based on their interpretation of what's going on, that's what they decide upon. That's what price is. And I'm confused by the time thing. I don't know what you mean. The real time, I guess, is my answer. They expire today, so can't sell currently. It's going in and out of the money. Well, you have to look at when your contract expires. Remember, VIX expires at 9:30 in the morning on Wednesday. So that's you should, before you trade a product, you should definitely know when it expires, dude. Why are you betting real money and not even understanding the asset that you're trading? That would be like me betting on a sport and not even knowing what the sport is or the rules of the sport or something like that. Like, imagine sitting down and playing blackjack and not even understanding that you're trying to hit 21, or when the dealer has to push, or you push, or if you could double down. Folks, if you're betting your like own personal, like hard-earned money, do yourself a service and like do a little bit of research on it, man. Like, come on. That's crazy. And these are, honestly, you don't have to do some sort of PhD thesis level research here. Just Google it. Ask ChatGPT. Hey, Matt, what are your opinions on RUM long-term 1 year plus? Well, long-term isn't 1 year, but my opinion on where it's going to be in 1 year, I've boiled it down to two separate things. I think it's either going to go up or down. Those are like kind of the two buckets that I've really put it into. But in terms of actual long-term, which once again, long-term is not 1+ year, but actual long-term, yeah, I like the risk reward. There's not that much risk to it. And the reward is that it actually takes on these massive tech conglomerates such as YouTube and is successful. From a risk reward perspective, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I bet on the horse with the funniest name. Hey, go for it, brother. Go for it. 9:30 is what I thought, but wasn't sure. I'm trying it for the first time. Usually sell before expiration. Dude, you are playing with fire. You're trying something for the first time that you don't understand, and you're not doing it on a paper account. They made paper accounts for a reason, so you could like figure this out. Or even if you're betting real money, go like do 30 seconds of research on it. Like ask ChatGPT and be like, yo, how does this behave at 9:30? Like, it'll like literally 30 seconds of information, and you're going to be able to learn quite a bit. Dude, if you're betting your own money, like, I don't know, like do a little bit of effort to stack the deck in your favor. All right. We are apparently finding that support at 5,900. Minute one of the day, buyer stepped in. We are seeing fresh intraday highs. If this holds, and let me double check the options flow. Okay, options flow is kind of flat on the Mag 7, and it swung up, down, swinging back up on the SPY. So we're not necessarily out of the woods, but if this holds, we're watching 59.20. That would be my next natural target. MSTR getting a nice pop, Netflix going. I would love for Tesla to go to 355 today. Love for paper is your friend. He got money to blow. Hey, I mean, dude, if you're like some rich Saudi prince, have at it, dude. I mean, I don't know your financial I don't know your financial situation. Don't discourage degen behavior, Matt. You'll have to find yourself. I just do it for me because I know what I can handle. I know my personality. I know my risk tolerance, but I don't know other people's. You are 10 likes away. 10 likes away from getting a pure, unadulterated, clairvoyant prediction of the market today. You guys could do it. Top of channel now might find some resistance. Well, that's not insightful. It might not. You're just telling us that there's a 50-50 opportunity? Hey, at this point, it might go up or it might go down. Like, what kind of insight is that? That's not useful. You're giving us a 50-50 opportunity, dude. Top of channel now might find some resistance. It also might break through. So I appreciate the 50-50 on it, but that, like, how are we supposed to do anything from there? How are we supposed to do anything with that? I like throwing my entire mortgage payment on 0 DTE SPY options at 3:30. See what happens. Either we're eating good tonight or dodging phone calls for a month. Hey, high risk, high reward. I can't blame you. Some people just like how it feels. All right. Well, you guys did cross it. So let me give you a perfect prediction of the market today. Let me just give it a little bit of a shuffle, a little bit of a shuffle, a little bit of a shuffle, a little bit of a shuffle. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Abracadabra, alakazam. Oh, market lords, please reveal your plans for the day. Whoa. We ripped the 8 of Pentacles, a Snape-esque looking cat with a lot of potions. I see a portion of a moon above him. There's a spider web up there. That might be a little bit of a tell. I see a couple books, not knowing that cats could read. That's news to me. Let's see what this one is about. I honestly don't know how to interpret that one. The 8 of Pentacles. What in the world could this be? What in the world? Oh, here we go. Ooh, diligence, craftsmanship, and self-discipline. Often signifying a period of intense labor. This card shows that you have that you have achieved some success, but the greater dedication is now needed in order to master your craft. Personal sacrifices may be necessary. All forms of learning or apprenticeship are favorable. Sounds like it's going to be a grind today, folks. Sounds like we're going to have to put in that extra effort today. And back to who was saying they were about to mortgage their entire house. It sounds like the card is actually favoring you, because it's basically, I'm interpreting it as you have to take it to the next level. If you want to be successful today, you have to put in that extra effort. Doesn't sound like we're going to get much of an easy day, but for those of you who sack it up and take it seriously and actually do this thing, such as remortgaging your entire house. Someone just said stick to your plan. Not stick to your plan. Sounds like you need to stick to your new and improved plan. This card is all about taking it to the next level. You know what's taking it to the next level in real time? Fucking Netflix. I'm not going to be that guy who said, I fucking told you so, but I'm going to be that guy who said, I told you so. I've been calling it out in videos. I've been calling it out in stream. Boom. 20K return, a 106% return, 6.7K today alone. Called out in real time in the Discord. I made multiple update videos on it. I've talked to you guys on stream about it. If you missed it, well, I guess you don't get the biscuit. I don't know what to tell you. It's not a me problem. At that point, that's a you problem. I don't know. It's at 1,200. If it can, actually, I should probably in real time look up the next key level. I should know this off the top of my head. Equity Hub. Where might we be going on old Netflix? Let me look at the gamma. Let's lock in on the gamma, folks. Let's lock in on the gamma structure. Oh, what is this? 1,210, 1,220. Ooh, we're going up the battle here, folks. 1,205, 1,210, 1,220. But if it could break that, pretty easy push to 1,260. So this is tough. We're coming up to some serious resistance. We're getting to that low vol point where the market makers are no longer going to be supportive, and we have these giant nodes on the side of us too. So I find that it's going to be a big if. Big if. If it starts to get rejected here, I'm going to have to take my money. But if I could get fortunate enough that we get above and like hold above 1,220, it seems as if it's going to be easy sailing all the way up to 1,260, because that 1,265 is where the cumulative gamma goes from positive to negative. I'm playing with a little bit of fire here. It could easily get rejected right here. I'll let it go. Please, how do I join your Discord? Oh, it's very easy. It is a super simple 8-step progress. Number 1, you have to buy a Lilo and Stitch shirt. You have to put that Lilo and Stitch shirt on, and then you have to go out to your local Arby's. And on the northeast corner of the Arby's, you're going to find a guy named Hank in a yellow poncho. If you tell him the secret passcode of Goonies Never Say Die, he will then give you another puzzle. I hope you're up to date on your cryptology, because it is a cryptology cipher that you're going to have to solve, and that's going to give you coordinates. When you get those coordinates, it's going to be a geolocation type of a deal where most likely you're going to have to dig, because there's treasure buried very, very deep. But once you find said treasure chest, within it, you're going to find a URL. When you go to that URL, you are going to have exactly 18 minutes to solve another puzzle, this one digital based, on your computer. And then from there, you're going to find the ability to get into the Discord. Is it easy? No. Is it impossible? Also no. I just want to make sure people who want to be in the Discord actually care about it. So is it excessive? Yes. Is it completely necessary? Not exactly. But hey, I like my buddy Hank, and I like to, fucking sue me. I'm a small business owner. I like to employ people and keep the economy going. So if you're telling me that this is unnecessary and excessive, just understand, if I stop this, I'm taking food off the table of guys named Hank in yellow ponchos on the northeast corner of Arby's. You want me to, you're stealing food from Hank and his family. He has twins, 8 months old. And you want me to take food from that? Wow. That's it. You guys are fucked up. You're trying to steal food from newborn twins. I'm just trying to stimulate the economy, and here you guys are fucking complaining. Stealing food from twins. Wow. Talk about robbing a baby. I cannot believe you guys. I cannot believe you guys. I thought you guys were better. I thought you had more morals. I thought you were a little bit more reasonable. I'm honestly upset. I really, really am. Hank did great with the barbecue business. Yeah, till COVID hit. His entire idea of mixing arcades, barbecues, and mosh pits, it was ripping until COVID. You hate to see it. You really do. COVID took out a lot of great businesses. That it did. Oh, man, I'm so tempted. What's your thoughts on IBIT? My thoughts is that it's going to be directly 99% correlated with Bitcoin. So the question isn't what's IBIT doing. The question is, what is Bitcoin doing? IBIT is Bitcoin. That IBIT is an ETF with Bitcoin in it. So it's just, do you think Bitcoin's going to go up? If you do, you're bullish on IBIT. If you think Bitcoin's going to go down, IBIT's going to go down. They're like a 1-for-1 correlation, brother. A 1-for-1 correlation. It's not like its own distinct entity, like what's literally in that fund. You give money to the fund buys Bitcoin. You take money out of the fund, they get rid of their Bitcoin. It's just like a 1-to-1 match. A 1-to-1 match. What am I doing? I'm trying to not trade. I am a little jealous because this was a pretty solid opportunity. This breakout at 944, too early for me, but you could have gone long there, risked this low at 942, not much risk, playing it up to 59.20, probably a pretty solid day trade. I mean, I'm seeing a good amount of aggression right now in the options market. Mag 7 having a nice pop since 941. S&P 500 also climbing. The 5-minute, 10-minute went bullish. The 30-minute is attempting to test. We are at a recent level though. Watch for this because there might be some sitting orders at these recent technical levels where we're at on ES right now. 5-minute, 10-minute on NQ looking good and actually broke above this recent high that we saw at 1 in the morning. So if it can get above and hold above that, we might be talking about the 2030 high, which is 8:30 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. Right here, we still have these overall higher lows in NQ. So as of now, knock on wood, this 5,900 key technical level, key psychological level, and key options level, the bulls are reacting to that very nicely. They dipped into it on minute 1 and said, nah, honey, and popped it. But remember, we still have a lot of time to go. I'm attempting to do my best and be disciplined as in and not trade too early. Recently, over the past couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot of people react a lot of big players, for whatever reason, place their trades right before and right after 10 a.m. So I'm attempting to withstand that storm. But before you know it, we might be back up at the bottom of the transition zone, as in the bears try to get this gap down. But if we can pull back up here, it actually shows you on a relative basis the bullish strength that the market equilibrium is saying, no, dude, we do not want to be on the bearish side of things. So that's my first, right now my watch is, do we push to 59.20 or do we fail below 59.05 and then retouch 5,900? So that's my bull target. And right now, on a short-term basis, the bulls are in control here. We have higher highs, we have higher lows. The 5-minute, the 10-minute recaptured, the 30 minutes pushing on ES and NQ. The Mag 7 was popping until 9:52, giving a bit back now. And same thing with the SPY, popping until about 9:52, giving a little bit back right now. But we might just be making a higher low in the delta reading. So I would highly, highly recommend paying close attention to that. Close attention to that. And remember, we did pull the 8 of Pentacles today, suggesting that it's going to be a slog. It's going to be a slog. Someone said, Netflix trap. What are you talking about? Do you think there will be a recovery for UNH and eventual return to its highs? I would say 50-50, brother. It either will or it won't. 50-50, flip a coin. I heard some influencers say it's a good time to buy leaps on UNH. I'm not sure yet. Oh, because influencers, they really know what they're talking about. They're all super, super smart. And they all make a ton of money trading, and it has nothing to do with their social media influence that pays their bills. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a valid point. These influencers who don't make money trading and make it via influencing, I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something. Sign me up for whatever you're having. I too blindly follow influencers and take their trades because I'm sure they all understand fundamental value, technical analysis, options. I bet they all do. I bet they all do. Congress is buying UNH. That's a far better reason. Yeah, because they never lose money either. Never. None of them. You guys are bringing up some really... You're bringing up some really interesting facts. God, you're pretentious as fuck. I think the word you're looking for is sarcastic. Technically in this one. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be a grammar Nazi, Alex. But the word you're looking for is not pretentious. It would be sarcastic. Facetious would also work if you are cracking open a thesaurus. But a lot of people don't like it. Oddly enough, if you use the word facetious, then people do think you're pretentious. So you see how that is like a full circle moment? Yeah, the word you're looking for is sarcastic. Facetious would work, but then if you use facetious, you would also probably be pretentious. So kind of interesting, right? Like words, man. They're so funny. Such a roundabout type thing. Alex, it's not pretentious if you're simply the best to ever do it. I don't know what to tell you. No one ever called Warren Buffett pretentious. They said he's a fucking goat. No one called Tom Brady pretentious. Is it really pretentious if you have the stats to back it up? Satanic. Well, now we're getting into a different world, but some people on Rumble do accuse me of being satanic because I pulled tarot cards every single day. They think that I had to make some sort of deal with the devil to get that type of insight. And I don't blame them. Maybe I did sell my soul. Oh, brother. Oh, Alex. Another butthurt viewer. You'll get over it. It's all right. Yeah. Must be your first day in the show. What a fucking goober. What a goober, dude. What a freaking goober. Anyone play HNST? Been good for a mid to long profits. What does that mean? What's a mid profit? And also, why are you trading stocks that no one's ever heard of? It's not pretentious to call out influencer traders. Oh, no, dude, most of them are fucking retarded. A lot of them are, well, not a lot. There are a handful who really know what they're talking about and are hyper informed. Unfortunately, there's an inverse correlation. The ones who have the biggest followings are ironically the least informed. And then the ones who are giving you like actual clear-cut, measurable, empirical evidence and reasoning, for whatever reason, they just don't get a following. And it's kind of sad. And so I wouldn't say all of them. There are some people who, like I said, are like... day in and day out, I watch their content because I'm blown away with their insights and their reasoning, and I think it's top notch. And then there's many who just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're like, whatsoever. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. What? Stop chasing wealth. Get right with God. Nothing else matters. Hell yeah, brother. I'm just rich on Jesus bucks. Just got to get right with God. Can I get a hell yeah, amen? No one? No, I'm not hearing it. I'm not getting a hell yeah, amen. Well, I guess I'm the only one who's going to spend my afterlife in the kingdom of heaven while you guys are going to burn in hell. Done with your stupid black magic cards. Bye, Felicia. Please, don't go. Don't do this to me. And don't call me Felicia. I definitely don't look like a Felicia. Any thoughts on Nvidia's earnings with all the Middle East business? Take the whole market on its back upwards. You realize that the recent news isn't going to be in that last quarter, right? You know that there's like the delay. It's the previous fiscal quarter for them. I hope you know that the real time happenings are not in the earnings. I pray that you know that. Are we finding a little bit of support at yesterday's low? A little bit of resistance, higher low, we break through. Are we finding a little bit of a ditty here? 58. Whoa. Batman, what the fuck was that? Someone tell me what's going on. I'm scared. Someone better tell me what just happened right there. I swear to God, if you guys don't tell me what's going on, I'm going to fucking go postal on this entire operation. What is happening? Dude, I'm going to give you guys about 5 seconds to tell me what the hell is going in the market right now. And if you don't, you're all going to be fired. You're all going to lose your job. I don't know what's going on. I don't see any news. EU prepares trade proposal for U.S. to steer momentum into talks. Oh, that's the news. We got a little bit of a pop here on the bots overreacting to the EU is preparing trade proposals for the U.S. to steer momentum into talks. So they're talking about maybe talking. Well, that's pretty spicy. That is pretty, they're talking about maybe talking. Like it's the talk before the talk. Like let's schedule a talk to then talk about maybe talking. And then the bots were like, fuck yeah, dude, we got to buy that. All these bots, these natural language processors were like, dude, that is the best thing we've heard in a minute. Talking about talking. Mag 7 popped on it. SPY popped on it. Dude, the bots went nuts on that. They're like, dude, talking about talking? You love it. That's why this is the world's largest casino. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. What news do you read? Mainly The Onion and the Babylon Bee are the two major news sources I take in to get my world opinion, my local opinion, my national opinion, my updated tech news, my updated market news. I would say my two go-to sources are The Onion, because I like to pull back the layers, and Babylon Bee, because I'm a fan of local honey. I am a fan of local honey, but not that I'm not associated with them or anything. If you want to read them, read them. Sorry, stepped away from the company. Hey, Tom, watching these charts is like watching an anime fight. What? Huh? Where are you getting that one from? An anime fight. Well, we haven't really given it back. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute. Look at that. Ripped right up to that high that the 1 a.m. that we were talking about. Maybe we're basing a bit here. Maybe. Potentially. But anyway, the 5 minute and the 10 minute and the 4 hour officially green. 5 minute, 10 minute, 4 hour officially. Actually, the NASDAQ across the board broke from one level and ripped to that 20, 30 high from late last night, getting up to that post-market high that we saw, actually getting real close. So I wonder if that's the extent and it blew its load too early, or are we going to get some follow-through? The Mag 7, and I don't know, it's looking good. We just made delta highs, and it's not, in price, it's kind of flat, but in terms of delta, we're not seeing the option players necessarily give it back. The play here might be up to yesterday's low. We are struggling at this next open interest level. So remember, it's that if-then statement. If we can hold this and go, I'm then looking for us to push into the transition zone. I am looking for us to push into the transition zone. How's the flow looking? What time is it? It's 10:05. Order submitted. Oh, I forgot to show you guys, but right here, sorry. I haven't traded yet until right now. I just placed my first trade on the day. I want today to be a one and done type of a scenario. In a perfect situation, this would just rip. I would hit 21,462.25, which was totally not a random guess, and it is 100% made up with a lot of extreme PhD level mathematics. And I want to clarify, it is not simply a 50-point gain. For those of you who are watching at home and you might be thinking, Matt, every single time you do one of these trades, it looks like you're just going for 50 points. It's not that. It is. If you think that my math is simply taking my entry point and then adding 50 points to it, plus an extra one to cover commissions. No. It's math. It's extreme level math. It's not just taking the level and adding 51 points. I'm sick and tired of people telling me that my exit criteria is actually really easy to replicate and anyone could do it. And it's only plus 51 to get $1,000 after commissions. It's not that. It might look like that if you don't get math the way that I get math, and it's super advanced. It's super advanced. I want to clarify that. To any news outlets who are currently watching the show, how dare you accuse me of simply going for 51 points of profit for this trade? And I do that commonly because it happens to be $1,000, and that works out really well with the math of sim-funded trading. It is not that. It is based on extreme levels of mathematical competency, and it is heresy to say anything else. It is heresy to say anything else. So anyway, I'm long at 411. I'm risking this recent low. On a breakout here of 20, I'll move my stop up to this recent low, and then I'll be really only like risking a little bit. Is your math like Liberation Day math? Pretty much. Effectively. I'm just riding this options trend. It sounds, when we get that news, like, I like to wait for a beat or two to see if it's quickly reverted, but it's not. It seems like we're attempting to hold. So if we can get another leg follow through, I like it. My one concern, though, just to, I guess I like in real time to self-criticize and explain like the things that are potentially bad. I think it's always better to focus on the potentially bad things than the things that are actually actively going in your favor. And the potentially bad thing is obviously it could just get rejected right at this level. So I'm trying to use this recent low, but basically I'm betting that this breakout does work and we push up to the transition zone. That's the play. We're not really, as of now, showing confidence. The market's not showing confidence in us holding above that level. So that's why this is not an A+ setup. Now, from a price structure standpoint, yes, higher highs, higher lows. That is bullish price structure. From a momentum standpoint, bullish, bullish, bullish. And the 30-minute is testing, but on the NASDAQ, bullish, 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 bullish. So price structure is bullish across the board. The price momentum is almost fully bullish across the board. And then options flow is actually looking really good. That's a strong linear line to the upside. So I'm trading with it, but it's not that A+ setup because I'm basically saying it does not get rejected here. I would rather the overshoot and then we're basing here and I could buy it off that base. So that's why this isn't an A+. It's more of like a B, maybe a B setup, because there's a lot of things going in this favor, but nonetheless, it's still effectively going long at this resistance. Now, in terms of how pivotal is this resistance level, it's not as important as 5,900. It's not as important as 5,950. It's not as important as 5,875. So that is something to consider for sure. So we're going to see how it plays out. I have my risk. I have my reward. I'm liking Netflix. Tesla's picking up too. All right. Things are starting to trend up. Meta's even going. I like that. Broadcom was green, giving it back a little bit. All right, let's reshuffle these so we can see what's green and what's red. What's green and what's red? This is exactly what I was worried about, a smack at this key open interest level. And why there tends to be market reaction at these levels when you have high open interest is because the players playing it, they're going from out of the money to in the money or vice versa. And then they are being forced to make a decision. A lot of people, for whatever reason, psychologically, as soon as they go from out of the money to in the money, they like to take their profits. So that's kind of what we're seeing here is we had this double attempt to break out. And as of right now, it is not getting that follow through, which was obviously the risk I took. Hang on. And now we are getting a potential trend line breakdown, which makes me, do I just want to cut this early? I mean, it's only down 25 points. I could easily make that back. Do I just want to cut bait now or do I want to give it a little room to breathe? Maybe this is a fake out breakdown. I mean, the options flow is still strong. It's starting to give it back here at 1010. A little bit. More specifically, we do have some call selling, so people locking in their profits. Yeah, right here. You could see the green dropping, as in 0 DTE call buyers are now selling. Starting at 1010 on that pop, and most likely the lack of follow through, calls are being sold. That is 0 DTE calls are being sold, and you can see its impact on the full call chain as well. The full call chain as well. So if this could stop, I have a shot, but in real time, we're not seeing it bottom out. I should have been patient and waited for this exact setup. I was just worried that the news was going to rip without me and I was going to miss a quote unquote easy play. A quote unquote easy play, but that's what you get for chasing an easy play and not necessarily an A+ setup. It was more of a B minus because of, even though the technicals, the momentum, and the options flow were all looking good, very dangerous to be going long at key levels, and that's exactly what I did. I was trying to be hopeful because sometimes key levels break, especially on news. It was holding up for a couple minutes, and an awkward delay later is when we started to see people realize their 0 DTE call profits. So effectively from 940 up until about 1006 on that pop, the secondary pop after the news, people were bullish, and then not long after that, they didn't know what to do. And with the awkward 4-minute delay, from there, that's when they started to take their money. Lock it in, locked it in. Now, we haven't really broken the recent low. We might be finding support here. So I'm going to give it a second to breathe for sure. And maybe I get lucky because overall, the trend is still up. The trend, well, if we dip enough, but maybe this is just a higher low right here. Basically, the success and or failure of this particular trade is going to directly relate to this bottoming that we're potentially seeing. It has to be an actual bottom, and we have to continue course to the upside. If this is just a little fake out and we just get smacked again, then I'm going to take an L on the day, and that would be less than ideal. But remember, as the tarot cards predicted, today's going to be a battle. It's going to be a slog. You don't sound confident. It's stupid. Confidence is a dumb thing. It's math. This is a game of math. It has nothing to do with my personal emotion on this of like, oh, I'm super confident. I'm not. It's more of the math. That's the rating system of like, what can you empirically measure to either like basically you're trying to calibrate the quality of the decision as I just did. I literally ran you through why I made the decision, and I'm also admitting that it's not a top tier decision, but it's enough for me to like be willing to take on the risk. So I guess like this confidence of like just that gut feel is stupid. And yet not all, that's not fair of me to say. A lot of retail traders day in and day out are attempting to trade off their gut of like, oh, this looks bullish. Oh, this looks bearish. Dude, give me the stats. Give me the data. Like, if you can't do a rundown like I just did, and hey, yours might relate to something completely different, but you have to have something measurable to be basing your trade off of. So in the future, as you collect more and more data, you know what to improve, you know what's weak, you know what's strong. Like, it gives you an idea of the knobs you can like kind of alter to see if you can improve your overall trading strategy. And literally, I just went through it with you. I went through price structure, price momentum, options flow, and key levels, and a little bit of the narrative of this news that was seemingly bullish. So those were the things I took in to measure and make the decision. And it had nothing to do just like generic confidence. That's just silly. It's my confidence on any given trade is 50-50, whether 50% chance it goes for me, 50% chance it doesn't. So I'm never going to be absurdly confident, but I'm never going to be absurdly non-confident because I'm just effectively assuming it's 50-50. And I know in the long run that if I can manage my risk properly, I'm going to be net profitable. The way I trade on these accounts, I'm not talking about the swing trading accounts, but on the futures accounts, man, Tesla tried to get going, got smacked pretty hard. The way I trade these, it's about a third. 1/3 of the time, I take a unit loss. 1/3 of the time, I break even. And the other third of the time is where I hit a reward and I'm looking for a multiple unit gain. So it's a third. If you were to break down the current day trading strategy, the scalp trading strategy, that's close enough to the metrics of it. 1/3 of the time, I take a unit loss, which is going to be based on some variable of the ATR. Another third of the time, it goes in my favor enough where I put my stop to break even, and unfortunately it comes back and knocks me out. That's the other third of the time. And then the final third of the time is that it actually legit goes in my favor and I have a multiple unit return. So with that particular math, you can imagine a third of the time you're losing a unit, a third of the time you're break even, and the other third of the time you have a multiple unit return. Obviously, that math over the long term is net profitable. It's just more of, can you be disciplined to stick to it, and can variance just not screw you up so much in the short term that you take those unit losses, especially on something like Take Profit Trader or Apex, that you blow out. So that's basically the math of it. That's basically the math of it. Netflix is looking good. Here, let's go to the 3 minute. 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 Here we are. Hopefully, I'm just basically praying that this low we just had is officially a higher low. The low we just put in at 10.12. Hopefully, Netflix is putting the market on its back. I'd prefer that Tesla go completely the other way. Meta's flat. Would love for that to pick up. MSTR was looking good, seemingly giving some of its back. Was both Tesla and Netflix were looking good up until the new hour and then taking a bit of a hit. Broadcom fighting back green. Microsoft trying to fight back. NVIDIA, same thing as Tesla and MicroStrategy, good up until about 950, 955, giving a bit back now. Palantir was good at market open, taking a bit of a hit. Where's Apple? Apple is also fighting back. So Apple and Microsoft are both in the red, but they're fighting back since market open. ASML, not much. Amazon dumped, going sideways. Rum losing about 50 cents over the past 2 trading sessions at 9.50. I'll take it. DJT not doing much. Coin. Honestly, the most exciting one I see right now is Netflix. Maybe Meta gets going. If Meta can make a new fresh high, maybe that's going to be an exciting one. But Netflix is knocking on the door of a continuation. Other than that, I'm not in terms of major tech stocks, I'm not seeing the most. All right, I need to make a decision here. How do I want to, coming back to risk management of the 1/3, the 1/3, and the 1/3, I'm slightly under the water to the tune of 15 points, which is just over, I'm down just over $300, maybe 300 flat. Remember, I'm long at 411, and we're basically trading at 397. So I'm underwater by about 15, between 15 and 20 points right now. Things are moving a little quickly. VWAP's at 47. I could use that. That's a little bit more than I would like to risk. It is. That's just over 50 points. And if you take a 1K hit on these accounts, it can put you in a tough situation. But it might just have to be the risk that I take on today, praying that this low is a higher low and I could play off of it. And then obviously, if we do get this continuation above the 1006 high, the 1006 high is what I'm looking at right now. If we can push above that, then I can move my stop to break even, or at least very close to it. And then in the worst case scenario, I'll move from the 1/3 unit loss situation to the worst case scenario being that 1/3 break even situation. So I'm just trying to move myself from potential loss like phase 1 to phase 2 of worst case being break even. That is currently my real-time goal, and I'm about break even right now. It's not like I'm that crazy. I am trading on all 25 accounts. I have my 20 Apex accounts. I have my 5 take profit accounts, and there we go. There's all 25 of my accounts. Here's my one trade. Let me just do it like that. Nothing is realized. This is my first trade of the day. Well, the realize here is the commission on take profit. But right now, if you want to trade with someone else's money, if you're interested in sim to funding trading, the best current financial offering to all of you is Take Profit Trader, aka TPT. If you use that code Goonie, you'll get 30% off for life and never pay an activation fee. Every single day, I do a quick little check on all the major websites of who's the cheapest, who's the most expensive. And obviously, I only want to tell you guys in real time about the current best financial offering from the prop firms that I personally trust. There's a lot of prop firms out there, and there's many of them I don't trust. And then there's very, very few who I do trust, and I kind of bounce between them. But right now, Take Profit Trader, use that code Goonie, 30% off for life and never pay an activation fee. That is the current best financial offering. And I am back to, well, I was almost break even. I'm down about 5 points right here. I should have probably waited for this breakout bar. I could have gotten a 10-point better entry at 400. Probably should have waited for that. Once again, that comes back to, I'm not a perfect trader. Sometimes I'm too early. Sometimes I'm too late. I'm by no means perfect. I was a little bit overexcited. I saw this push. I saw the pullback. I could have gone long here at this 400. I was a little late, or at that point, I should have probably waited for getting in at 400 here. So, seeing how things are currently playing out and seeing how things were playing out in real time, I should have been in 10 points better. I like the long position. I do. It's just that I should have been in at 400. I should be at my break even right now. And instead I'm off by about 10 points. So that's not the worst. When you're trading NQ, 10 points is, I mean, if anyone in here has traded NQ, you know what's 10 points among friends. But just to be self-critical, because when I make a misstep, let's not let it go to waste. I hope you guys can learn from it. So more than happy to be honest and transparent and give you a real-time live trading breakdown of my active position. None of this Monday morning quarterbacking. I think sometimes self-criticism is actually one of the best things you can do, like taking in actual data, criticizing yourself of how it could have been better for the next one, which is honestly one of my favorite things to do with all of you guys, because sometimes I have these lights out perfect trades with perfect entries. Unfortunately, they just don't happen that often in terms of taking no sweat. So sometimes you have to be realistic. And I think that push right there at 10:06, time-wise, it was too close to this. I was just worried, I'm like, dude, what if it goes? And I was risking that low. At least now, if I'm fortunate and we could take out this 10:06 high on the NASDAQ and on the S&P 500, I can move my risk to the 1012 low. Unfortunately, ever since that announcement, you could see here we are just range bound. So that is putting myself in the situation of the 50-50 chance of I'm hoping, praying that the range bound situation breaks in my favor. And like I said, that is a 50-50 shot. But the one, this is the key reason of why my trade is not an A+ setup, is because it was going long just below a key open interest level. That is the major criticism that I could throw at myself, that you guys could throw at me right now of, hey man, you did it. And at that point, your risk was all the way down here. You're lucky it didn't break down because you would have gotten knocked out. You should have waited for this 1020 was a better entry. I don't have an issue with the direction on this trade. This was a recapture of the 1 minute EMA, but you were just taking on less risk. And remember, the name of this game is, can you minimize your risk? So even if I get lucky and the market pops and I get my money, the entry quantifiably was a bit weak. It was a bit weak. So once again, I hope it breaks in my favor. I believe I'm on the right side of things. We have higher highs, we have higher lows. Momentum's bullish, bullish. Well, this one could be improved. Bullish, bullish, bullish. So there's enough things going in my favor that I wouldn't, well, actually scratch that. Look at this. At 1010, the Mag 7 is not recovered. I need that to bounce. But at the moment I made the trade, we were making this base and I was hoping would pop up. So at the moment I made the decision, I think there was good reason to make said decision. But it could have been better. For sure, it could have been better, without a doubt. Without a doubt, Batman, without a doubt. All right, what in the world I'm just checking a couple other services to see if I could get any indication on strength, momentum flow, specifically in the options market. Because we just put in a lower high. Granted, it's still only 10:26 in the day, so there's a lot of time left. But the question is, how much heat do I want to take? Because your boy's down by about 30 points right now. And that is not my exact pain point, but it's definitely not the trend I would like to see. Not the trend I would like to see. I'm awkwardly at the point of praying that the closing value from yesterday on the SPY acts as actual support. Hopefully buyers step in right here, which is possible. I don't have it mapped out because it was the technical level, but there is open interest at 59.10. There is open interest right there. The Mag 7 is getting hit. The SPYs may be bottoming. So flow, unfortunately, post my trade entry is starting to turn against me. So one thing you could do is, if you did not take this trade, if you haven't traded yet, but maybe you are bullish, watch for this trend line breakout. Because that might be a nice little recapture. I might be getting very lucky of this bounce on the S&P 500 off the previous day's low, which is a real-time example of why every single day with the overall market, if that's what you're trading, watch the previous day's high, low, and close. There are, like, anecdotally you could see it, but also if you backtest it, and I've spent a lot of time extensively backtesting this, there are clear market reactions to the previous trading session's high, low, and close. They're like, undoubtedly, the math backs it up, the research backs it up, and if you just do a quick scroll, like a scroll on your own chart, anecdotally, you're going to see that, wow, the market commonly has a key reaction to the previous trading session's high, low, and close. And I actually personally take it to the next level, and I also map out the trading session from 2 sessions ago, high and low. So that's what this dashed red line is. So the solid red line is the low from yesterday. The dashed red line is the low from 2 sessions ago. I always, on the daily bar, I love to know where the highs and the lows are, and it's because just the math backs it up as a key level. So not only is it a key technical level, but commonly you actually see just a decent amount of open interest there as well. So not only does it become a technical level, it also becomes an options level. Netflix trying to trend higher. It's holding 1,200. I really like that. Tesla's taking a bit of a hit. Not the biggest fan of that. Meta, 641. I kind of like that. Things are showing a bit of weakness now. Oh, basically, we're going to see how lucky I am today. Will I get lucky and we get this trend line breakout, or am I going to get unlucky and the bulls are not going to defend the low from yesterday on the SPY and we crack from 59.10 all the way down to 5900? We broke this trend line. We came back up. We failed to make a fresh high. Then we took out that low. We took out this low. Now we're pressing on a key level. And when we're at key levels, your odds are 50-50. I'm basically flipping a coin, except I wish I were flipping a coin and this was where I was long. So if I'm wrong, I only take a hit, where right now I need to be on the right side of that coin flip just to get a bounce back to break even. So we're playing with a little bit of fire today. We're definitely, fuck me. And it seems like your boy might be getting burned. I'm going to be honest. The trend of this Mag 7 Delta flow, everything was nicely bullish up until 1010. And now we're taking a bit of a hit on the Mag 7. And really even the S&P 500. We attempted to recover here till 1025. But it's just, we went from an upward slope to a clear, evident downward slope. And I'm not liking it. I am not liking it whatsoever. Well, hopefully I'm at the point where I'm just praying that the bulls step in here and buy it off this level. It is a key level. There is a good statistical chance of a bounce. This is by definition support, but other people might be looking at it as, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to short because they're seeing the shoulder, head, shoulder. So the bear camp is looking for a shoulder, head, shoulder. The bull camp is looking for this bull flag breakout. Let's see who wins. There is no statistical stat-backed model that's going to tell you who's going to win this. You just have to wait and see. So much of this is just wait and fucking see, protect your risk, and maybe you're going to get lucky. That's why, like, I commonly, I'm not saying technicals are bad, but it's a lot more of an art than a science. I'm a fan of the technicals in terms of using them for risk management, of targeting previous highs and lows. But when it comes to your active trade entry, it's too much Monday morning quarterbacking. And what I mean when I say that is, if this were to break down, the people who already had a bearish bias are going to be screaming from the rooftops, I told you it was a head and shoulders. How did you not short that? But the other 50% opportunity is we break out of this trend line and actually push all the way back up to this transition zone. And then all the people with the bullish bias are going to say, it was a bull flag. How did you not possibly see that? And yet right now in real time, they are both true. They're both simultaneously true. So if they're both true and yet one is bullish and one is bearish, that can't be mutually exclusive. How do you know what to do it? And that's why I don't think technicals are good at predicting. I think they're good at really identifying where you should admit you're wrong if the trade goes awry. So just to be very clear, I am not against technicals by any means. But if you think technical analysis is the end all be all, it's not, and you're going to lose money in the long run. It's just, you're going to lose money. I don't know. I've spent many years just trying to figure out the technicals. And the issue is when people see technicals, they think it's like, it has to work. Be like, I see this structure, it has to work. Not realizing that the structure itself could have an edge, but they don't even know what the edge is. A head and shoulders actually, from technical analysis, has the best edge. And then something like a bullish pennant actually has the least edge. Now, technically, they both still have an edge, but one is greater than the other. But also, just because I have an edge, that doesn't mean on that one individual play that it has to work out. So just be careful with that. Please, please be careful. Technicals work until they don't. I think there's a time and place for technicals. But more specifically, I think you're gonna just don't stop there. I would say that technicals are best used with other things, such as price momentum, price structure, which in a way is technicals, but more importantly, also options flow. Options flow very much. Trend is your friend. Well, in a certain way, trend can also be defined by technicals because of its higher highs and higher lows. So I think when it comes to technicals, you can boil it down to as something as simple as this: are the highs higher or lower? Or the lows higher or lower? Pay attention to the recent highs and the recent lows for whatever time frame you care about, and ask yourself, which way are the highs trending? Which way are the lows trending? If they're both trending higher, great, bullish. If they're both trending lower, great, bearish. If they are mismatched, that either tells you you have a consolidating pattern or more of a microphone expanding pattern. And it's that latter one, when your highs are getting higher and your lows are getting lower, that is by definition the most difficult to trade. Technicals always work with a stop loss. Well, that's fucking stupid. Congratulations on having the dumbest fucking comment of the day. Technicals always work with a stop loss. They can never not work. It's a perfect way to trade. Unlimited money. Everyone gets money. Technicals always work. Put in that stop loss and you're fucking guaranteed to make money. No, but seriously, that's actually, like, I don't mean this facetiously. Like, you actually just have the dumbest fucking comment of the day. They always work with a stop loss. Legally, they're not allowed to not work. Dude, shut up. They always work sometimes. 60% of the time, they work 100% of the time. Is basically what I'm hearing from this dude. He just was too busy watching Anchorman last night. Hey, man, we get it. All right, so the NASDAQ is holding up better than the SPY. The NASDAQ is still holding above that low that we saw from that EU we're going to talk about, maybe talking about. But the SPY actually lost it. So 5,900 is coming in close. That's coming in close. They always were court ordered, pretty much. Pretty much. Stop losses only work for technicals. Now you get it. You're actually legally not allowed to use a stop loss if you're not trading based off of technicals. If you use a stop loss and the Gestapo finds out you weren't trading off of technicals, they're actually going to shoot you in the face. And that's just a law. It's a law that many people don't know about. But if you're trading off of like a system or fundamentals or options flow, and the Gestapo finds out that you're trading with a stop loss, they like legally have to shoot you in the face, which is a crazy rule. It's an uncommon law that a lot of people don't talk about, but trust me, it's a law nonetheless. I find that I've even seen it in my Discord. There's people telling me, they're like, yo, dude, did you see the options flow? I just traded. And like my heart like skips a beat because I'm like, did you use a stop loss? And they're like, I did. I'm like, no, shut up. And I delete the recordings. I canceled the Discord. I ban them from the Discord for their own health. I'm like, no, I've never heard of them. Because like, of course, the Gestapo comes by and asks me, they're like, yo, like, was this guy using a stop loss? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, we don't think he was using technicals. So I was like, no, he was, I swear. It was a head and shoulders the entire time. And they're like, well, we have like written digital communication that he was looking at options flow. And I was like, that's a different guy, dude. Completely different guy. What about trading off ideas? Exclusively ideas. That's another core order. That's the only thing you're allowed to trade off of. It's just good old-fashioned ideas. Good old-fashioned ideas. No trade systems, just ideas. Maybe it's chunky soup. Don't know what that means, but I'm here for it. All right, the Mag 7 is still trending down. Price is doing its best to hold. The poor buyers in the equities market are doing everything in their power to keep the NASDAQ up, and the options market is saying, go fuck yourself. Look at that. Price is trying so hard to hold up, and these option guys are just smashing them. Selling calls, selling. Dude, they're doing what they can. They're putting in a valiant fight. The SPY, not so much. The price is actually legit going down. The They're putting in a very valiant fight on the Mag 7. They're doing it. They're like, they're fighting. They're digging in deep. They're going David Goggins mode. And they're like, we're going to carry the boat. Who's going to carry the boat? Unfortunately, even though they're attempting to carry the boat here, there's a fucking hurricane coming in that is absolutely smashing their faces right now. And at a certain point, you just wonder if the boat's going to get ripped apart. That is brutal. Like, price is holding up resoundingly well relative to this Mag 7 trend. How's the NASDAQ looking? Even the Mag 7 is starting to get clocked. This game is rigged. I want a refund. I'll say it. This freaking game is rigged, brother. Should I just get out for break even? I'm really not even that far away. I just don't like this. Should I just take my hit on the day? Should I take my hit on the day? Feels like I'm playing with fire. Feels like I had a good trade reason at first, and it's very rapidly just turning into, nope, this is fucking stupid. Feels like this is real quick. Dude, I could almost get out for break even. Do I take it? Chat, I need you. My financial health is in your hands right now. Do I get out at break even if the market gods offer it? No, Matt, man up. That's what my mom used to say to me all the time. She's like, man up, pussy. Bad trade idea. Well, maybe. It's the casino. Get your free drink. HODL. NDQ only goes up. Hold. No, Matt. Double down. Stay in. Get out. No. HODL. HODL. Hold. Matt, get out. Run away. Hold. Hold. No. HODL. Take it. No. Crank up the leverage. Is it going to be one of those bang bang trades? I'm not seeing anyone in here say it's a bang bang trade. Can anyone in here confirm for me if this is a bang bang trade situation or not? Because that's going to completely change how I interpret this situation. Is this yes or no? Do we have a bang bang trade? It's bang bang time. 5x the position and pray. A man after my own heart. Look at that green. We're all the fucking naysayers now. We're all the tough guy naysayers now. Bing bong, accept the risk. Add 2 contracts. Sue the indecisive candle. Stick to your trading plan. Dude, my trading plan went out the window a millennia ago. You think I know what I'm doing? I know a lot of you come to this show and you think, man, that is one fucking handsome, affluent guy who just has life figured out. He has it all put together. He has a plan that is ironclad and he sticks to it. They say an influencer, a content creator, a market magician such as myself should never pull the curtain back and let you guys, the audience, know of the secret. But I will. I don't know what I'm doing. I wake up and I just rip it. My deepest fear tied to my worst insecurity is that one of these days you guys are going to figure out I have no clue what I'm talking about. Like day in and day out, I wake up with night terrors, screaming, shouting to just be completely sweat drenched. And it's always just this recurring dream that one of you guys in chat kind of points out, I don't think Matt knows what he's talking about. And then someone else catches on to that. And they're like, hey, I think that too. I don't think what Matt, and before you know it, it grows like a forest fire. An ember turns ablaze. And everyone else is like, and then all of a sudden you guys are just coming after me with the proverbial digital pitchfork. Matt doesn't know what he's talking about. Which honestly, even in my nightmares, it doesn't really have a ring to it. Like if you guys are going to come after me with pitchforks, it's too long and too clunky and too wordy to say, Matt doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, you see, there's too many bounces in it. Like there's too many words. You guys, if you're going to do it, you got to shorten it. Mutiny. That's a good one. This is why we pay Tom Leaps to be here. That's just right to the point. Mutiny. Like you could just say that, like just one like direct hit. Mutiny. That's one that you guys could get behind. That is definitely one you can get behind. So if there is a meeting and you guys are trying to figure out, like, what should our saying be when we take down the Matt Kohrs show, I honestly think mutiny could be a top contender. A top contender. Just a personal opinion, though. I mean, obviously, it is your own mutiny, so I'm not here to criticize it. You guys could take me down however you choose to. However you choose to. Dude, I've been in this trade since fucking Nam, brother. It's been forever. What is going on in the market? Matt doesn't know. Matt doesn't know. Matt doesn't know. Matt doesn't know. Oh, fuck. Just when it was looking good, trendline test, some Mac. It's the SPY, dude. The SPY. Even the Mag 7 tried to get going there, and we just got a smack-a-rooney. The old smack-a-rooney will slap my ass and call me poor. I don't think this trade's going to go my way. I'm going to need some sort of miracle turnaround here. Oh. This is what it feels like to be you guys. This is what it feels like to be a fucking normal guru furu influencer losing money. I don't know how to emotionally handle. How do you guys deal with this day in and day out, making trades that don't make you money? It sucks, dude. I can now empathize and sympathize with you guys because now I know what it's like to lose money, and this sucks. Why do you guys do this? Ew. I feel dirty almost. Like, you know, it feels like there's like a layer of just fucking peasant loser on me right now. I don't like it. Why do you guys do this day in and day out? Lose money? Ew. Like, it's just, this isn't fun. I don't know. I tried drinking it I tried trying it. I attempted to do what you guys are doing just so I could be a man of the people and commiserate with you guys more. But I'm straight up not having a fun time. I don't know why you guys do this. This sucks. This like legit sucks, guys. We're not doing this anymore. This blows. This straight up fucking sucks. Dude, it is. We are just, the Mag 7 seemingly went flat. So we're no longer purely vomiting anymore. So that's a slight improvement. And maybe even in the SPY here, we're seeing a potential bottoming-esque in the options flow. So a clear hit from about 10:05 to 10:30. So about 30 minutes of selling in the options market in both the S&P 500 and the Mag 7, starting just past the 10 a.m. hour and seemingly going on pause just past 10:30. And since then, I mean, the Qs are perfectly range-bound. Like, this shit isn't going anywhere. We're still within that bar of the news report right here. Just go find yourself this 10 a.m. bar and just track that. We're still within it. And actually, we're within a range like we were yesterday. Now, on the bearish side of things, the SPY actually broke down below that. Netflix is strong. Meta's holding on. Tesla's being a piece of shit. MicroStrategy was being a piece of shit and is trying to redeem itself. Broadcom's holding on. Microsoft was redeeming itself, turning into a piece of shit. Nvidia is trying to hold on. Palantir turning into a piece of shit. Dude, this feels like a personal attack, honestly. It feels like it's getting hyper personal. Wait, what? ES bouncing but downwards. What does that mean? Bouncing but downwards. It's bouncing downwards. Like a slinky? Like a slinky situation? Is that what you're talking about? It's bouncing but downwards. Those, like, generally you don't see those two words. It's bouncing but downwards. Well, I I can't disagree with what you're saying, but that's just not a way that people explain the market. That's not really a common interpretation of price action. Bouncing, but downwards. I see what you're saying in a certain sense, but I guess I'm just taken aback because that's like one of the first times I've ever heard any chart action be explained that way. Bouncing, but downwards. Generally, people say bouncing, or it's like going down. It's selling off. As in the market is right now. Fuck, dude. Mag 7 started to sell again right there. Yeah, the SPY delta not holding. Okay, well, I need to break out my lucky rabbit's foot because if this breaks 5,900, we're going to 5,875. Based on my current play, I need this to bounce right here and go back up so I can get my money on the NASDAQ. So we just hit 5,902. 5,900 is a legit level. The way 5,920 was, actually 5,900 is more legit. Some would say too legit to quit. So I'm praying that this can hold. I'm praying that buyers come in right here. And I'm also kicking myself thinking, man, this is probably the point you should have gone long and you would have saved yourself about 15 points of risk. My only savings grace is that the NASDAQ is not dipping as much as the SPY is. But I just want to point out we are within 2 points of this key level. Not a bad dip buy. Obviously, your risk would just be an overshoot or some whatever way you do it, like a clear break of this. A clear break of this. Come on, bounce out of there. All right, Mag 7, stop puking. The SPY was puking and some buyers stepped in. I'm just hoping that there's enough buyers stepping in. We're not that far away from a daily chart technical breakdown. That would be just below 5,900, 5,896. As of right now, I'm not really counting this 10:01 announcement. Technically, we broke to the upside on the 30-minute Orbo, but because that news came out right after, I'm actually going to use that high. So in my book, which is not really a technically accurate book, I'm using this 10:01 high as my 30-minute Orbo breakout, and I'm using this 9:30 low as my Orbo low. So I'm trying to pull a magic rabbit out of my ass right now and get this bounce off of 5,900 and ideally push above 913. Above 913, I would feel much more comfortable in terms of me not getting complete. Holy fuck. I'm back green. Dude, is this 5,900 bounce going to work? If the SPY can take out 5,913, we might be cooking. Dude, why am I taking this risk? What am I doing? What is wrong? Like, I should just get out and be like, yo, today sucks, and just go to the gym or something. Try to not be so fat. All right, I'm going to mark that low out. The Qs are trying to get going. I don't need that one anymore. Netflix is still going. Palantir's picking up. Tesla's catching a bid. Meta's catching a bid. MSTR is catching a bid. Holy fuck, Batman. As the tarot gods predicted, today would in fact be a battle. As predicted in the stars. As it was foretold, as the prophecy told us. Fuck. What do I want to do? Am I rushing a trade? What am I doing? Folks, what am I doing right now? You're looking at the shell of a man, honestly. Just the hollow shell of a man. Let me check a couple things for y'all. All right, clear ceiling being put in at like sub 59.50. That's not so good. Support being put in at 58.75. I'm just going through a couple services to see if I could get any more of an informed opinion on what the hell is happening today. What the hell is happening today? As of this moment, based on the current option setup, the 0DT is suggesting that the bounds of the day, as of right now, and remember the market's dynamic, it could change, but it sounds like we're going to be between 58.75 and 59.40. Obviously, the floor and ceiling respectively. The floor and ceiling respectively. Oh, golly. You know, team, just freaking golly. All right, I'm going to try to rip a trade here. Is it going to get filled? I don't know, dude. I don't know about this one. All right. We ripped one trade. If you are in the Discord, I am front running Piper. I don't know what I'm doing today. If I'm being self-critical, your boy might be a little bit tilted, you know? You might want to call me Tilted Tommy today. Because Tilted Tommy's doing some stuff that if it doesn't work out, I'll look pretty fucking stupid. But if it does work out, you'll be like, yo, Tilted Tommy knew what was up. So, we'll see. We'll see. I would love for the SPY to break that. I would love for the Qs to break that. Oh, what am I doing with my life? I'm a man in shambles, folks. A man made of shambles soup. That's a good saying, actually. I should keep that. Oh, do I just fucking say, hey, brother, and just move my stop all the way up to this low and risk 10 points? As my financial advisors, what would you folks do? Double it. Don't do it. What? The 3.5 minute chart looking better. That is my favorite time frame to also trade on, is the 3.5 minute chart. I mean, there's two types of people in this world. People who do trade on the 3.5 minute chart and people who don't. And simultaneously, there's another type of two people in this world. Giant pussies and not. And I'll let you know which group is in which group. I'm not here to tell you guys how to live, but there are two groups of two groups, which are four groups, but it's really two groups within two groups. And you guys can be on the right side. Plan accordingly. Plan accordingly. Oh, brother. What do we have going on here? What do we have going on here? Brother, oh brother, oh brother, 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 brother, oh brother, oh brother. All right, if you are in the Discord, Piper just fired. So if you're in the Discord, I posted my trade, Piper fired, that's up there. If you like it, take it, but I would highly recommend you understand what the trade is and what it's looking for before randomly ripping your own money. But we might get going. Qs just hit their closing value from yesterday. Oh, hot dog. And you fuckers doubted me. There you said... There you were. You're like, fucking micro penis Matt is back. I bet he's going to lose money today, which is sad because he doesn't have much more else to lose. It's not like he had dignity, but now look who's laughing. Look who's laughing. I heard your chatter. I know what you guys say about me when I'm not here. I read chat before I started the show, and I know what's up. I'm going to get the last laugh. Old Mateo. I'll be laughing in Spanish. Ja, 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 ja. Ja, 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 ja. Move it to break even. Make it a free scratcher. Dude, someone give this guy a cookie. He is spot on. That's why I pay SLV 110% of my monthly income, because he just gives such solid advice like that. Seriously, if you guys ever need a financial advisor, he's a little expensive. Granted, he takes 110% of what you make in a month, but it's just spot on. It's just spot on. That's racist. I can't be racist. I'm a heterosexual, affluent, good-looking white male. What do you mean? Racist? I get that some people could be racist, but I'm literally in the group that is least likely to be racist. Affluent, able-bodied, heterosexual, Christian, white male. And you're calling me racist? I don't know, dude. Just be careful throwing stones from a White House. Be careful, brother. I get that some people in this world could be racist, but I'm literally like in the category that is least racist. So just want to throw that out there. Just want to put that out there. I'm just teasing, Matt. Deep breaths. Oh, yeah, because my response was so serious. Not enough Bitcoin info here. Well, here's your Bitcoin info. MicroStrategy, rip into the moon. Bitcoin, rip into the moon. Bitcoin.
Order canceled.
Oh, brother. Almost a new all-time high. We are $350 away from a new all-time high on Bitty Bitty Bitcoin. But in the meantime, bada bing, bada boom. If I were racist, would I be able to make $25,000 in a day? Anyone? Any brainiacs in here saying, hey, that kid's racist for saying ja, 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 ja? No, it's because God favors me. It was predestined. I am a selected one. 25K locked in. That is my one trade. Every account is at 53,000 except for these accounts, which are almost at 54,000 because I accidentally overtraded one of these days. Did I top ticket? Yeah. It's because my big brain math I knew it was going to be the ceiling. Now, for those of you who were here earlier, I see a couple murmurs in chat saying, dude, that wasn't any special math. You literally just added 50 points to your entry to make $1,000. No. I don't want to hear that. I knew it. I did. I took numbers and I crunched them together and I put them in a extreme formula. I ran them through AI and then I ran that through a neural net. And folks, I top ticked it because I understand math better than you. And I get this time and time again that people are like, dude, that wasn't math. You just added 50 and got lucky. And maybe I am wearing my Lucky Buffalo shirt. Maybe, I don't know. But you guys, it's just math, guys. It's good old-fashioned math. Good old-fashioned math. 25K locked in. And remember, if you want to trade with someone else, dude, I have an alert for Bitcoin to get a new all-time high. We're pretty much at it. Why is MicroStrategy just not ripping to the high heavens right now? That's my real question. Because I was playing this Bitcoin breakout, assuming MicroStrategy would be at like 440, 450. And I'm not liking that. Its correlation is not what I want it to be. That's a bit of a bummer for me. Netflix is going, brother. Tesla, MicroStrategy. How is my swing account looking? Ja. Dude, Bitcoin, new all-time high, brother. Not bad. Well, also not good. I'm down 31% on Tesla. I'm down 7% on Meta. I'm up 5.5% on MicroStrategy, and I'm up 133% on Netflix. Netflix is up 25K. MicroStrategy is up 1K. Meta's down 1K, and Tesla's down 7K. So I'm down 8K, up 26K for a net of about 18K right now on the day. Tech is looking good. I'm not going to lie. Tesla's breaking my heart a little bit, but Netflix is my mistress who's coming around. It's almost, if I were to explain this with a real world example, imagine you're in this like long-term devoted relationship, and unfortunately it goes to shambles. And as you're picking yourself off the floor, you find this mistress, a hot little librarian who comforts you at your lowest. That's effectively my relationship currently with Tesla and Netflix. I love Tesla. Tesla and I were a great relationship. We understood each other. Dare I say it, at one point, I would have said we are soulmates. And then just like that, the proverbial rug got ripped out from under me. And when I thought there was no future for me, when I thought there was nowhere I could possibly go, I stumbled along Netflix. And though my heart is still shattered, it is slowly but surely being mended by the beautiful NFLX. That's pretty much the best metaphor I could come up with. What's Bitcoin's all-time high? That is a great question because we're pretty much at it. It is 109,358 and 1 cent. I see a lot of people forgetting the fact that we got that 1 extra cent, and I want to clarify. If we hit 109,358, honey, we got to go that 1 extra cent to really rip it. I was going to turn the show off, but now I'm just kind of excited to see Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high. Should we update the live trading Bitcoin? Let's just switch the title here. Bitcoin new all-time high. Can I spell today? Dude, it is going. It is going. I guess we'll hang out for a couple seconds and see how this goes. I want to see a historic moment with all of you folks, you know? We're about to hit it. It is, once again, 109,358. Right there. We're on the 1 minute. We're about to do it, brother. We're about to do it. $40. $40. $40. $50. $1. We were $1 away. $1. Not even. There we go. Hey, Macarena. Hey, Macarena. Well, congrats, folks. Bitcoin you just witnessed history. You just witnessed history. A new all-time high on bitty Bitcoin. MicroStrategy popping. Netflix popping. Tesla not popping. Rum should be popping. They have like 200 plus Bitcoin. All right, so obviously MicroStrategy is going to be interesting to watch today because we hit that new all-time high, and I think this should be like $20 higher, but that's just me. Meta's going, Coin's going, Broadcom's going, Microsoft's not doing anything. Nvidia new all-time or intraday high. Palantir got a pop. ASML got a pop. Wait, so seriously? It's just this piece of shit Tesla that's the only one not going right now? Come on, dude. We're going through a nasty divorce. That's what it feels like, at least. That's what it feels like, at least. MicroStrategy's taken off. Taken off. All right, we have MSTR's ripping. Yeah. Bitcoin, beautiful new all-time high. Beautiful new all-time high. Ripple's up 1.9%. Solana's up 2.5%. I don't even have ETH on my watch list anymore, but I would assume it is up as a sympathy play. Things are working. Things are working. How many of you are in Bitcoin right now? By a show of hands, how many of you in here right now are in old bitty Bitcoin, whether as an investment, as a short-term trade? Just like, how many of you right now bullish on Bitcoin, riding this wave to new all-time highs? I want to know. I want to gauge the audience interest. Made me 1K. Wish it was on the eval. I'm out. Gonna go start dinner. Great job. You're awesome. See y'all tomorrow. That's so kind of you. Nice. Not too bad. Hand. Yep. BTC. Small Satoshi stash on a cold wall. That's the way to do it. That sounds like a lot. 18%. I think I might have missed something. 180 Bitcoin? Oh, 180 maybe thousand US dollars. If you have 180 Bitcoin, dude, that's nuts. I have $500 in BTC, but thousands in Pepe. Well, one of those is good and the other one's a joke. So remember that. Long-term Bitcoin. That's what I am. I don't really actively trade Bitcoin, but I'm definitely a long-term holder. Definitely a long-term holder. All right, here's where we are. We're almost at the transition zone. Let's see if we could get sucked back up into this. And then if we do, it's probably going to be chop fest for the rest of the day within here, as long as we don't get rejected. If we do get rejected, look for a return to 59.20. If that doesn't hold, look for 59.10. But we are at the bottom of the 0 DTE Greek transition zone, so bearish below, but we're getting back into that neutral choppy territory. So get ready for that. Bitcoin, like I said, we tagged a new all-time high. New all-time high. 90% of my portfolio is Bitcoin. Let me log in and track where am I at. I mean, I've had now Bitcoin for years. How do I even see? I don't like this interface. Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of other crypto, but it's like 99% Bitcoin. And it is cooking. It is really cooking right now. I wish my MicroStrategy was cooking more. Here's a little taste of why you guys might want to get into the Discord. Obviously, my account today is up $20,000. Year to date, I'm up $310,000, and my active positions are Netflix, MicroStrategy, Meta, and Tesla. So up 140%, up 10%, break even, and down 32%. So Tesla is what's dragging me down right now, costing me about $7,000. But obviously, the net situation is that my mistress here, Netflix, is making things look pretty damn good. Obviously, all those are called out in real time. And whether you like me and the community or not, I do implore you, if you're a part of a trading community and whoever the quote unquote leader is, if they are not actively showing you all of their trades when they get in and then when they get out, none of the Monday morning quarterbacking, they're hiding something from you. So I'm not saying my community is necessarily meant for everyone. Basically, we don't accept any pussies. But if you do choose to join another community, I don't blame you. But my one little pro tip here is if they are not actively showing you the entries and the exits at the time of entries and exits, something is up. Something is absolutely up. So please be careful about that. If they do not give you some sort of weekly, monthly, year-to-date, multi-year track record, something's going on. Because people who make money, especially if they're trying to teach you about making money, they have no issue showing you that they are successful in the thing they're attempting to teach you to do. So if they're being cagey about it and they're not showing you, like, clearly that's a massive red flag. Like, something is going on. So like I said, if you want to join a community, check out mine, or if you don't like it, check out someone else's. But in the other ones, if you're looking at them, a minimum demand should be, hey, I want to see some sort of like verified track record over, like, not just like a trade, but ask them for the last month, ask them for the year to date, ask them for a full year, like ask them for some like actual succession of trades. And if they don't want to give it to you, that should be a huge flag. Just run away because they're hiding it for some reason. And it's not going to be a good reason. No one hides their track record if they're like lights out making a shitload of money. Like, no one does that. No one's like, dude, I make too much money. I can't I don't want to show you right now. Like, no. Have I missed the boat on Netflix? If you have to ask if you missed the boat, you probably missed the boat in all reality. You're asking that because you know you're chasing. Folks, you want to get in at the start of the trends, not when the trend is already playing out. That doesn't make sense. Get in when you think the trend is starting because by definition, you're taking on minimal risk. Get in when the trend, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minutes now bullish. I would say the next target is actually this weird 830 high from last night. If you're trading ES 5958 and on NASDAQ, we actually already took it out and we took out from the high from yesterday. So the next target on the NASDAQ is actually the high from Monday of this week. Oh, Bitcoin taking a little bit of a breather after hitting a new all-time high. Don't be surprised if we just make a higher base and then bounce off of that. I hope the overnight session gets crazy. The SPY's running into a bit of an issue at the start of the transition zone. My expectation is we get into it, we hit the closing value from yesterday, 5941, and then I think we're just going to kind of hang out in here. But these are the type of shenanigans to be expected on VIX expiration. What would you do if you only had 1K to play with? I would use SIM-funded accounts so I could leverage my money, or I would just not trade at all and I would save up more money. It's for your own funded account, 1K is very difficult to be successful with. It is easier to trade with the more money you have. And that's just like a basic breakdown of math and options costs and all that stuff. So your options are this, is either use that 1K and use SIM-funded trading because then you'll have multiple accounts. Or if you don't want to do that, just save up money. But I mean, I get it. There's a lot of things out there who like, they're trying to sell you a course and they're like, you could turn fucking $5 into a gazillion. You could be a gazillionaire if you just pay for my course. Dude, they're full of shit, folks. The distribution of trading means you have to overcome a serious amount of variance, and $1,000 is not much money to overcome variance. I turned 4K into 150K on 0DT options. Congrats. You could get lucky. I don't think you could do that again. There are absurd periods. Like, for example, if you bought puts and then Trump announces something in the trade war and you get this gap down, yeah, you could turn 4 into 150K. That's not a repeatable system, though. If that was a repeatable system, your 150K would already be many, many millions. And that's how I know it's not repeatable, because you're saying you turned 4 into 150. If you truly had a repeatable system that was time tested and overcome variance and day in and day out, you're doing it, you would have already move that 150K. So there are periods of pure luck. That's the variance of the market. And I'm happy for you that you turned 4K into a lot of money, into like literal, like more than a full yearly salary. But I just don't like this sentiment of these finance influencers basically saying, hey, if you buy my course, I can help you turn a little bit of money into a lot of bit of money. And they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's just not how the market works. Are you going to your only option is use short long calls on some solid companies, probably aiming for breakouts, but you better get in right in 1 to 2. I don't agree with that. I mean, that could be a good strategy, but I don't think that's the only thing. There's a lot of ways to make money in the market. So once again, surprise, surprise, guess where the SPY is struggling? It's struggling at the exact level I called out before the market opened. I hope it holds in here and then just kind of ping pongs around. Of course, if it breaks out, that would be awesome. And the NASDAQ is leading things higher, so it's possible. But my base expectation as of now is I'm hoping that this support holds and we just kind of mess around in here. If a breakout happens, great, I'm here for it. But it is a low odds bet, so I'm personally not betting on it. But on the other side, the NASDAQ is looking phenomenal. If you look at the daily chart here, we can go to QQQ. You can see we have a weird bullish engulfing bar on an inside bar. This is a rare setup where you have bullish engulfing, inside bar, another bullish engulfing. This 3-bar pattern, it's a rarity for sure. A very, very strange one, but we are about to be taking out this high from Monday. I believe we almost did on NQ, and we're getting real close on the Qs. So this might be the end of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-day consolidation. Ideally, a breakout and a follow through would be nice. And the reason why we might be breaking consolidation today is because, remember, all those VIX puts expired. We had VIX expiration this morning, so we're not really getting capped the way we were before. So I am here for a bit of a follow through. We're getting real close right here, 522.53, watching that. Obviously, everyone's excited, rightfully so, about Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high. MicroStrategy looking good. I do wish it was looking better. It's only up 1.1%, while Coin's catching a bit of 2.3%. Broadcom's up 1.1, Meta's up 1.2, Netflix up 1.5. We're getting to the point where I might have to take my profits. I don't know. I'm going to have to break this down, and we'll talk about it in the Discord. Tesla fighting back, but still upsetting me that it's not holding 350. What else? Nvidia's going. Palantir started to get going. ASML. Fucking dude, I was so close to going long on Broadcom. I'm going to be kicking myself about that one. I've been staring at this chart for a fucking many moon. All right, folks. That's pretty much it for today. So we started off a bit weak. The bulls came back fighting. We found clear support at 5,900, and then we had a weird announcement at 10:01 about EU trade, and we're getting a bit of a follow through. But the real bell of the ball today is very evidently Bitcoin. New all-time high. So I'll be looking for that particular sector to move and move and move. Hopefully we get a nice amount of follow through. That's what I have for you guys right now. We will be posting a very important update video tonight after the market closes around 7 p.m. Eastern. So whether you're on Rumble or YouTube, make sure you have your notifications on because you're not going to want to miss it. That's where post the market, I kind of share with all of you some of the major plays I'm seeing, which has a lot to do with the shitload of money that I am up. And obviously that is all put out for free. So check that all out. Shout out to Take Profit Trader for being the partner of today's stream, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Use that code Goonie to get the best deal on SIM funded trading right now. If you want to trade with someone else's money, I think it's a good risk reward way to engage with the market as you're building out your own grub stake to trade in your own fully funded account. So check all that stuff out. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. I'll see you in the update later on today, and then we'll be streaming once again tomorrow morning. So best of luck today. I hope you guys make a shitload of money. I'll catch you guys later. I appreciate all the good vibes. Peace.